Well, the DPSC goes back to 1981, and what happened in that particular year was a wave of detentions focusing around a particular political activist called Barbara Hogan. And on September the 21st, 1981, I recall, there was a major police swoop. I think 27 people were taken that day, and then over the next month or two, another, I think 40 people. It ended up at 67 people were finally detained at that time. And essentially it was a spontaneous response by friends and family members and so on, who got together and gathered around the families to assist them and help them to come to terms with the detention of their relatives. So that's the beginning of it.
And from there it seemed to have grown enormously.
Well, it's correct. It snowballed because of a number of things. First of all, it became clear to us who were trying to help those in detention that the conditions of detention were dreadful. Torture was endemic, I think still probably is. And one knew, for example, that a number of people were having a very, very bad time. And you'll remember the death of Neil Agate, who died on February the 5th, 1982. So we'd been going for only about 2 or 3 months as an organisation when we heard about the death of Neil Agate. And then during his inquest, some months later, it slowly unravelled that he had been very, very badly tortured with electric shocks and enforced exercise and beatings and what have you. And I believe what drove him to suicide finally was that he simply couldn't put up with the treatment that he was receiving. So that gave us an added impetus, I would say, that we realised that when the security police came to detain you, it was no easy matter, and that they really did mean business. So it made us all the more determined then that our organisation shouldn't just be a temporary thing. Because when we first began, we had it in mind that there was some mistake perhaps, that the police had taken the wrong people, and we didn't understand anything about the system of detention. And it became clear to us over time that this was an endemic system. It's how the government kept itself in power, by detaining and intimidating its political opponents. And we felt it was very important that rather than just disbanding once our particular friends or relatives had been released from detention or had been charged or whatever, that in fact this is an organisation that needed to exist for everybody in South Africa. And so it carried on from that beginning, a very small beginning, into an organisation which today, well, until it got banned in February in 1988, had something like 56 different branches around the country, having begun with just a handful of people in central Johannesburg in 1981.